It's time to rethink what's possible, a podcast from Milwaukee School of Engineering. I'm your host, Chris Gauthier-Dickey, head of MSOE's Derrick School of Advanced Computing. Today we're talking about how artificial intelligence is reshaping education, from K through 12 to higher ed. I'm joined by two guests from this year's MSOE AI Week, presented by the Northwestern Mutual Data Science Institute. Amy Bires is the Computer Science and Digital Learning Consultant for the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction. And Dr. Andrew Williams is the Dean of Engineering at the Citadel, where he directs the AI Algorithmic Integrity and Autonomy Innovation Center. So first of all, thank you both for being here. And let's start with you, Andrew. How is AI affecting the way that your role is working and what you're thinking about at the Citadel?
So when I first got there 5 years ago, I saw that we needed to do a lot to catch up in terms of AI, and this was before ChatGPT. So I worked with other faculty and other schools and leadership to try to come up with a strategic plan around AI and machine learning. And that was just the first step, and we made some more progress since then.
Very nice. And Amy, what is your role at the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction involve, and how is AI affecting that?
Yeah, so I am, as you said, the computer science consultant, and really trying to figure out how AI fits into our content area standard of algorithms, of programming, of data analytics. So we have some different standards that we are looking towards. Also in our information technology literacy standards as well. So we have these two different sets of standards, and we're really trying to look at AI from two different lenses. So that AI literacy component, understanding how we do prompting, how we understand biases and hallucinations, but also how is the large language models being built? How do we look at just the overall arching aspect of building and understanding it? So we're really trying to help our districts come at that from two different lenses and find a great approach to integrating that AI content into all of our subject areas at the schools.
So as we know, AI seems to be really changing everything, and especially education. But I'm curious on your thoughts about that. So let's start with you, Dr. Andrew. How are you seeing AI impact education right now and in your respective areas?
So since generative AI and agentic AI can give students the correct answer on many types of engineering problems, we have to make sure that we're ensuring that they're learning the material, but also learning how to use AI to supercharge their work as a future engineer.
Right, that's interesting. So, I think one of the questions that people often have is if it's solving their problems, how is the learning happening? Right, and so that's something that you think about, I'm assuming.
Yeah. As I was able to talk about today in terms of the way the brain works to learn, we need to make sure that students aren't bypassing that process where they're building these brain connections to add new knowledge to their lives. And so it means figuring out new ways to assess how we can measure their performance on certain projects and assignments. But also we need to educate our faculty on the use of AI and how they can integrate it into their curriculum.
Yeah, that's what I liked about your talk earlier, was that you really talked about how when a student is learning, if they bypass it, they don't sort of build that memory and that understanding of what they need to learn, and instead they just skip all of that. And so I like that idea of thinking about how do we create assignments and projects so that they're still engaging in the right way instead of just getting the simple answer. It's very nice. And Amy.
Yeah, I would definitely go down that same pathway, that we really need to be mindful of the assessments for our students and what our educators are providing. We have, if they can go into an AI model and get that answer, and just regurgitate it back onto an assignment, are they really learning? So looking at more of those authentic assessments, developing your pathway for having questions. If it's writing an essay, what was the process that you went through. We talked this morning on the panel about having peer-to-peer reviews, having AI help with that aspect, because you can have a fellow student give feedback, but if they're not very knowledgeable on that content area, allowing AI to help with that aspect. And I've looked at a couple different things and heard from different teachers on the way that they're using AI, which is really innovative. And for example, using AI chatbots to simulate customer service interactions, and just having that conversation allows that. But yes, we need to make sure we are having authentic assessments. It's just not search and regurgitate back out, but also making sure our educators are understanding how AI works, understanding that ethical component, and really having those conversations, that transparency of conversations with our students on the use of AI in their classrooms.
Very nice. And I think that most people would agree there's some point where sort of being exposed to AI makes sense. And at the beginning, you still have to build those sort of fundamental skills. Just like we don't give a calculator to a first grader or whatever. We tried to at one point with disastrous results. And so it feels like there's something along that. And are the school districts talking about this, or does your department talk about when's sort of the right time to start integrating AI, or how is it being integrated?
Yeah, so we have an AI guidance and recommendations for our school districts to help write these policies, and obviously for those districts to understand what those guidelines are for age restrictions. Most of them are around age 13. So a lot of districts are working with vendors to make sure that they're meeting those laws and requirements, also making sure that personal identifying information is not out there. But if you have a younger group of students who may not be on that screen of interacting AI that way, you can still have lessons of understanding how AI is built. You can do those unplugged lessons just to get that basic understanding. So build that foundational knowledge so that when they do get their hands on that screen of AI, that they have a better understanding, maybe a better respect for that AI, and that they know how to maybe use it better ethically.
Oh, very interesting. So, Andrew, in your talk, you talked about agentic AI, and just for the audience, would you mind sort of telling us what do you mean by agentic AI? People are talking about it a lot right now.
So, a normal chatbot, you can just give it a prompt and it'll give you your answer back. Agentic AI has a process where it observes what you're saying or some kind of output it's received, and then it reasons about maybe what it can do next, and then it plans what to do, and then it acts. And so it's not a static model where you just send it something and it does one thing. It could come up with a whole plan and execute that. It could go search for things on the web. It can write a computer program, and then the whole time tell you why it's doing it and its purpose.
Very nice. And so in your talk, you spoke about the way that it could change how students learn and how teachers teach. Would you mind saying a couple of things about that?
Yeah. So there's certain things that humans are good at, and there's certain things that machines are good at, and at the intersection is what one author referred to as the missing middle in terms of work, but I feel like there's a missing middle in terms of learning. And I think what a student needs to be able to know now is how to verify, what it's gotten, how to direct, which tool or, agent to use, and then also know when to stop, when it's been able to reach a state where it's going to add some value to someone's life.
Right. So there's part of that critical thinking that students need to develop to be able to work with AI. And so it seems like there's two parts to this. One is not taking the shortcuts and skipping what you need to learn for the foundation, and then using that to be able to direct AI and verify that the results are correct. Did I understand that correctly? Hopefully.
Yes. And humans are good at judgment and making decisions based off of evidence or facts they received. And I think we have to be careful that students also realize that there's certain times that an agent is going to try to make judgments or make decisions. And so it's important for the student to know the importance of keeping a human in the loop and keeping the human in charge and not letting the agent or set of agents be in charge.
Right. And Amy, are there concerns that you all think about when it comes to AI and student interactions and working with them?
Yeah, I would say some of the things that we really take into consideration are, I love the human in loop, making sure that our students understand that there's three components, right? You have the human doing the prompt, you have AI giving you the output, then you have to have that third element of that human back in the loop. So you really have to have that, and making sure our students are understanding that. Media literacy is another thing, so really understanding what is being generated. I know a lot of our students are on social media, so when we're looking at AI generated content, making sure we understand that they can decipher between what is real, what is not real. So those are a lot of things that we're really trying to build on AI literacy as well.
Oh, very nice. So for both of you, where do you see the current gaps or alignment between K-12 and higher education when it comes to AI readiness?
I think right now our K-12, our districts are experiencing lots of different things. They're trying to develop their policies. They're trying to understand what vendors they're working with. They're trying to develop AI literacy. They're trying to develop professional development for their educators. So there's a lot of things that are happening at that K-12 level, and not every student is getting the same exact experience. So then I think there was conversations earlier today, like what can a K or a higher ed expect from a student coming in? Mm-hmm. And I think that's still the unknown. So I think that is one of the experiences that we just have to continue to explore and grow on.
Yeah, especially someone who's in first grade right now. I can't even imagine what AI is going to be like in 12 years after that. And for you?
Well, in some ways I prefer K-12 not use AI.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think, as I shared in my talk, there's a lot of brain development that has to happen in true learning. And, they've already done some studies. I think MIT did one about when students do cognitive offloading. Mm-hmm. And, I remember I used to know 20 phone numbers and by memory. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember hardly, my kid's phone number, let alone, friends. And so I think there's a danger that it's going to be used too much in K-12, and they won't have the skills. It's like GPS. GPS makes you smart while you have it. You can go anywhere, but if you lose that signal or your battery dies, you're not smart and you get lost. Mm-hmm. And so we need to make sure, our K-12 students and our higher ed students know knowledge without having to rely on, an AI model.
And I will agree on that. I think that you have to have that foundation of knowledge. And I agree, we have to be very mindful of how we approach of using AI in the K-12 system. Because, like you said, you can't remember phone numbers. I can remember a few, right? As you probably remember my very first phone number. But GPS, like getting out of Milwaukee today, I'm like, okay, I know there's some construction, but I know the main route out. But my GPS will reroute me. But you have to have that foundation. And I think it's really important for our students to continue to build on that and grow and be mindful of when and how we are using and implementing AI into our classrooms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much so. I would definitely agree. And I think it's sort of the usual analogy that's given. You have to have a strong foundation to build a house, right? And a similar thing. To be able to do the amazing things we'll be able to do with AI, you have to have that strong foundation. And so I definitely appreciate that. So Andrew, tell me about what you think the issues are around AI when it comes to access. And Amy, you can also jump in here because not all school districts are the same and all students come from different locations and different backgrounds. And so I'd love to hear your opinions about that.
Yeah, today I listened to the student panel and access to good AI models came up. One of the students said they shared a paid version of, I think, ChatGPT, And, I think there's a disparity when someone can't afford a subscription to the better models. And I can see that amplified maybe in K-12 and maybe underserved school districts, and because it makes a big difference. I've had faculty say, well, I've demonstrated this model doesn't give the right answer, and then I'll use my paid version and show them, well, the paid version gives the right answer.
Right.
And I'm hoping that one day soon our libraries will offer this for free as a service to anybody.
Yep, I agree. I think that would give definitely a lot more access to people. And your thoughts, Amy?
Yes, thank you so much. That's a great question. One of the things that when it first kind of started to come around and we really started to build our guidance and recommendations back in 2023, 24, one of the things is we were experiencing from school districts, like we're going to shut it down. We're not going to allow anybody to access it. And that really, I think, raised a little bit of concerns or awareness for us, because especially in rural communities or communities that are lower income, that they may, that at school or their public library or wherever, that may be their only opportunity to access AI. So if you are in a school where you don't have it, when is a student going to be exposed to that? They don't have it at home. We also have different locations within even larger areas that have dead spaces, so that there's just for some reason, there's no Wi-Fi or internet connection in that area. So we need to be really mindful of that from an equity and accessibility standpoint, because this is a tool that's not going away, and we want to make sure that when we are mindfully and accurately and using it in a classroom or in a school or wherever, that our students have access to that, and that we're being mindful of that.
Yeah, I feel like we all need to reach out to all the big companies and say, you need to be providing this to everybody, not just to those who can pay for it right now. Really good points. Thank you both. What excites you the most about the future of AI in education?
Well, I think there's tremendous potential to have personalized learning. One of the grand challenges of engineering, I can't remember when they first announced it, was personalized learning. And so there's a real opportunity for these AI models to be made into personalized learning agents that can know the student's background and just really help coach them in concert with a human teacher. And then it's just in time tutoring. Our engineering students, they may have questions at 2 a.m. And if they have a personalized tutor that's not going to give them the answer, but just help them think through the problem, it can reap fantastic benefits.
Like that.
I would also say that the personalized learning is a huge benefit, but the creativity, I know some people are like, AI can take away from creativity, but I feel like it has helped me be more creative, think outside the box or outside my traditional viewpoints, having conversations that maybe debate, because we all know our algorithms, it's set to what we look for, right? And I maybe want to look at a different viewpoint. So I think there's a lot of great opportunities for AI to help us grow as a society, help us grow as individuals, and not just be in our box where we're in our comfort zone, right? It helps us get outside of that box.
Yeah, go ahead.
One of the projects that our center is involved in is AI-enabled biomedical devices for personalized and transformative healthcare. And we're collaborating with about 12 other institutions in the state of South Carolina. And so AI has the potential to really transform healthcare in our state. And so that's one of the great uses of it. And I'm optimistic on some positive benefits from the technology.
That's huge. That could be really amazing. And it's so hard to, often you might maybe get a report from your doctor and you're like, what does this even mean? And they're already seeing, from what I understand, that people are going to LLMs to figure out what those things mean. So that's amazing. That's really great. Well, I really appreciate you both joining us, and I encourage everyone to listen to and explore the content from MSOE AI Week, which is sponsored by the Northwestern Mutual Data Science Institute. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us to rethink what's possible. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to share it and help us keep the conversation going. To learn more about the Milwaukee School of Engineering, visit msoe.edu.